Okay, hello everybody, and welcome back to the True Path Entrepreneur, your guide to living your purpose and growing a business you love with freedom and fun from anywhere. I'm your host, Beth Weinstein. I'm a transformational business coach helping current and aspiring entrepreneurs align with their true purpose and grow their business so that you can help more people, profit with your passion, and have a thriving business you love working on your own terms from anywhere on the planet. And today I'm really excited to be talking to our next guest. Hey, this is Jocelyn Mercado. Hey, Jocelyn.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, welcome. So thanks for being with us. Jocelyn is a spiritual guide for the modern world, transformational business coach, and founder of Sacred Planet. Jocelyn earned her MBA and then worked in finance, business, and project management for over 15 years before leaving the corporate world to launch her global business, Sacred Planet. She's been a student and practitioner of indigenous wisdom and earth-based spirituality for more than 9 years and uses intuitive guidance frequently in her coaching sessions, so she brings a uniquely balanced right brain, left brain approach. Jocelyn believes that at the same time as we are witnessing the systems and structures of the old modern world crumble around us, we're collectively realizing there's an amazing opportunity at this momentous time in history to rise up together and create something entirely new that the world has never seen before. And through your sacred soul's mission, which you can carry out by starting your own business or community, you are truly meant to change the world. And Jocelyn, this is why I wanted to talk to you so much, because it's completely aligned with my vision and my mission. But tell people, probably like me, how did you get started on the current path you're on and go from, finance and corporate?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so I was in that world and, moving up the ladder and everything looks great on the outside, right? I'm sure many people listening have a similar story to this. But I was just completely miserable, very, very unhappy in having to kind of fit within the box of that structure and having to answer to certain people and just, all of the rules, all of the structure that's there in the corporate world. And so I kind of just went with it for a while, but when my first daughter was born, it really changed and shifted everything for me. I just kind of stepped back and I saw this little tiny person, and I thought, what kind of world am I creating for her? What kind of world am I going to leave to her? And it just set me on this huge spiritual awakening, basically. And I started looking for, what is the meaning of life? Why are we here? What are we supposed to be doing? And so over the course of probably 9 years, and it's a continuing journey, of course, but I just read everything I could get my hands on about all different religions. And what really started to resonate for me was indigenous wisdom and connecting with the earth and with nature. And so that's the direction that I went, and I have studied with indigenous elders, and just so much has become clear. So doing all that, in the process of all that, I had the inspiration to start Sacred Planet, and it has been truly amazing and truly wonderful. So, yeah.
Yeah. Tell us, I love this. This is why I wanted to talk to you, but tell us a little bit more about Sacred Planet and the work you do and how you help others.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sacred Planet is a global community, and it has really been based on events like yours, Beth, that are, really sharing wisdom, sharing new perspectives and new ideas with the world. And I create events as well. And also I provide transformational business coaching and life coaching. So, for someone who is feeling the call, who knows they want to change, maybe they want to start a business or a venture or a community, I will work with them. And my mission is to really help everybody to break through what's been holding us back, break out of the grid, the matrix, that we feel so trapped in, and open up to the vastness of what is truly possible for us, because it is so much greater than we realize.
Yeah. Yeah, no. And I love this because, this is the path I'm on and that I've been on for so many years, and I see how much it's transformed my life. And I'm very much like you, here to bring this out to more people, especially those that are, really stuck or suffering or trying to make a transition and they just don't even know where to begin. So that's why I wanted to talk to you. But, I really like in your bio about witnessing the systems and structures crumbling, and we're really creating something new. And can you, I know what you mean by that, and who knows, maybe some people listening know what you mean, but can you talk a little bit more about that, and then also how that applies to this journey of coming into, you know, your soul's mission, or coming more into alignment with what it is that your heart wants to do versus, you know, the fear-based systems of the past, as you and I probably both think of it as like, oh yeah, that's over.
It's done. We're moving on from that.
It's done. Yeah, not in my realm.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really fascinating. All of us who are alive at this time, we are living in very exciting times, and these are challenging times and intense for sure, but there is just such tremendous opportunity. If you look at almost any traditional or indigenous culture around the world, this time that we're living in now is prophesied as a time of basically the ending of one era and the beginning of a new era. So that's the reason why there are so many of us that are just like waking up, you know, at this time and saying, what is this crazy world? The insanity of this world that we're living in, that doesn't make any sense to me anymore. I want to do something completely new. I want to break free from that. And we're being really inspired, you know, to create our businesses and to change the world, you know, in alignment with each of our different talents and abilities. And, you know, I feel so strongly that it's a call from Mother Earth, you know, that it's a call from forces much larger than ourselves, but it comes through each of us in these beautiful ways.
Yeah, no, I completely believe in that too. I mean, it's really, you know, it's so much on a deeper level. It's so funny. Probably like you, I get clients coming to me and they know in their bodies that something's wrong, you know, something's off. They're just feeling it. It's like, this is probably the path you were on. It was mine. I just knew. I was like, there was just a day where I was like, I can't do this the rest of my life. I know there's something more. I know there's, you know, a dream I've had since I was 7 years old, and it was like eating me alive. And I know that's, you know, kind of like probably like you and a lot of our clients, this is also hand in hand with the spiritual journey and with the awakening, because so much of our lives is spent doing work, right? Like, you know, I don't even like to refer to what I do as work anymore, because to me, it's purpose, you know, it's like a deeper mission.
Absolutely.
So, and I know there's a lot of people who are really stuck on that and really struggle with the, you know, the question of like, well, but how do I make money? If I've been dreaming of, let's say, being a coach, or, you know, making money off their healing business that they used to just do for fun with family and friends, you know, what do you say to them when they start to freak out over, you know, like money and fears and like life and survival?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that happens, you know, pretty much every time. Because when we go through this process of realizing, you know, okay, I want to figure out what my purpose is and move in the direction of that and create something around that. It is an initiatory process, right? So we naturally go through this cycle of breakdown so that we can have a breakthrough. And it can be very scary. It can be very disorienting. And so there's a couple things to know about this that's really important. So one is that our subconscious mind and our ego mind want us to stay the same. They want us to keep doing the same old patterns we've always done and to stay in what's familiar and feels comfortable. But yet our higher self and our soul knows that so much more is possible. So it's a matter of staying with that and feeling the fear, but continue to energize what's really possible, what you know that you can do, you know, this venture that you want to start. The other thing is, it is so important to really go deep in figuring out what our true purpose is. You know, what are we really passionate about? And that can often be very, very connected with what we're most afraid of, you know? Mm-hmm. So if somebody has a fear of being visible, like a fear of, you know, being on video like this and broadcasting it out, you need to go and do that, right? That person needs to go and do that, because that is, if we're very, very afraid of something, that is probably really closely aligned with our purpose. So there's a lot of treasure in our fear.
I'm cracking up because I've mentioned this in every single video series I've done about how when I first started going out there on video, I was like dreading it. Like, I never wanted to be on video. I hate video. I'd rather speak in front of thousands of people than be on video. But I got through it, and I knew that it was part of this deeper mission, and I knew that I had to, because my calling was so huge that I was like, you know what? I can suffer through it. And you know what? I cried it out. I got over it. The first few were scary. And then, you know, now it's fun. Now I love doing these.
So fun.
But it's so true. And with every step on the journey, there's always something deeper. There's always, and I'm going through it now on another level. It's like, oh, okay, now I have to be seen in this other way. So I love that you point that out, because there's so much truth. And I think listeners really need to hear, like, when there's this fear, it's, there's a lot of gifts in it. There's a way to actually, I now have learned this many years ago. It's like you use this as, this is part of the growth and the evolution. This is why we're actually here.
Yes.
So, and another thing I wanted to talk about is, because I haven't talked to a lot of guests about this yet, but, you mentioned the importance of creating community and, like Sacred Planet is a community and, about you helping others along their business journey. Now, I know why, I think I know why, but why do you feel like community is important to business, to soul's purpose, to anything?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's so critically important because we can start to feel really isolated. If you're someone that's having these big new ideas, and it might be very different than what your spouse or your partner thinks, or it might be very different than what your family believes in, you can feel very, very alone in that, So it's really important to find like-minded people, to find your tribe, to find a community where you can talk about these things, because we need to be able to share our ideas. We are social creatures. We need to be able to be in community and in like-minded community that understands us. Mm-hmm. So that's been one of the most amazing things for me in starting my business, is feeling that sense of community and feeling these people gathering around me and the speakers who I've, interviewed, and all of these people who, they are seeing the world through a similar perspective as me. It's just really incredible.
Yeah. And would you say, when someone's first starting out, or even if they're, let's say they're still in corporate and they know they hate it and they want to go fulfill their soul's purpose, but let's say they're not ready yet, like, what would you say to them about starting a community? Like, I always tell people, like, you might as well start now, and there's no such thing as like waiting, or it's never too late to start.
Absolutely. Yeah. And when I was still in corporate, I started a women's circle, actually. Mm-hmm. And that really and truly, that opened me up to so many of my abilities that I didn't even know I had at that point, to kind to gather people, to lead people, to be in a leadership role in that different way, very different than the leadership role in corporate, right? So yes, absolutely. I would say, to go start a community, or, start doing coaching, or whatever it is you're called to do. Start now, start it small, and let it grow, and just see what blossoms. You'll be so amazed at what can blossom forth from you that you didn't even know was.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love it. And now, because I love talking about this. I really believe in this too, but I always just assume there's listeners that don't get it yet. But when you talk about, this is the earth speaking and something larger than us, what's happening, and I agree, where like every day I'm like, I am so happy to be alive right now. It's such a blessing during these really fascinating times that, the ups and downs are so intense sometimes, but the ups, which of course all of us feel it, it's like, they're just so beautiful and amazing. But when you speak about the earth and, related to, let's say, the changing times or people coming to their soul's purpose, like, what do you mean by that? And how do people start to see this, or become more aware of this and bring it into their day-to-day, everything that they do?
Yeah, I have a beautiful illustration of this. So there's a book by a man named Paul Hawken that's called Blessed Unrest. Okay. And it's about this like rising up that is happening at this time. And so he says that the earth is a biological system, that she is a living organism, just like you or me, just like any plant, any animal. The earth is a living organism. And so she's being threatened right now. She's being threatened by the oil drilling and the deforestation and all of these horrible things that are happening. And so she, just like we have an immune system, she has a natural biological system that is going to fight back. And so he just says this so beautifully, and I get chills when I talk about it, right? He says that those of us who are waking up, who are feeling the call to just change everything and to go out and, just change the world and really shift things, we are the white blood cells of the earth. We are being sent out like missionaries to create this change. And that's why we feel it so strongly in our hearts. We are responding to this global crisis. So it's really incredible, I think, to think of it that way.
Yeah. And I think that's really important for people to really get, especially when they're questioning their calling. Like I probably like you, I get so many clients that are at that really early stage where they're like, I feel like doing this, or I know I'm meant to do this, but I'm not getting clients, or I'm not growing enough, or I'm not making enough money. So they start to question, like, maybe I'm not meant to do this. Maybe I should go back to my, accounting job. And, when they hear you talking about this, that there is something bigger there, that there's something, it's literally like, I believe it's really in our DNA, and I'm sure you do too. It's like, this is almost beyond you and your ego and your fears. This is a larger calling that's almost beyond our control. So I think it's really important. Now, when you take an approach to, teaching business from this sacred spiritual standpoint, and you also say you do left brain, right brain approaches, what do you mean by that? And can you give an example of how, like, maybe a tip that someone can take into their day-to-day, building a business or coming into their purpose, whichever it is?
Yeah. So first of all, approaching business from this kind of earth-based indigenous standpoint, I think the first thing to mention is that in order to address these incredibly complex, global issues that we're seeing, right, we've got to start doing things in a really different way than they have been done before. And I think that the conscious entrepreneurs who are coming out, right now, and just, that again, on a mission to change the world, have such a huge opportunity to do that, right? To create business in a new way, to create a new relationship with money, to create a new relationship with the way that we work together. So it's just so important and so critical to realize what you're being called to. It's so important. It's so critical.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where you mentioned the right brain, left brain, I love this. So there's, so I came from this finance world, finance and business, very, very right brain, very, very masculine. And so, that's left brain. Yeah, left brain, very masculine. And then there's this whole intuitive and, deep interpersonal connections and the indigenous way of living, in harmony with the earth. All of this is feminine, right? And the right brain, it's just opened up to me in beautiful ways. And when we can live with a balance of those two aspects, that is when we can be truly happy, truly fulfilled. And so a great example, or a way that we can incorporate this into our lives, is, we so often in modern life, we get caught up too much on the masculine side of like doing. Like we've always got to be accomplishing things. And it is just so important to take time. So whether that is time for self-care, time to just be in nature, time to just be in solitude, in silence with yourself, and not trying to do. That is absolutely critical, because that is when the insights and the inspiration and the vision comes through that will allow you to move forward. But we don't want to get stuck in there either. We need that balance. So once we receive the insights and the inspiration, we need to go back to the masculine, the left brain, and we need to take action on that, So it's like the interplay of both receiving the vision, taking action, receiving new insights, taking action on those. When we find the balance there and make space for both of those in our life, it's like nothing can stop us. We're really in alignment then.
Yeah. I love this, because this is very much what I teach too. I always say I'm it's like I try to really focus on the balance in the middle of masculine, feminine, because I've lived both extremes. I've lived for many years running a different business. There was literally a masculine, the whole industry I was in was like masculine. It was all men running it. And I basically turned into a man. And I got sick. I burnt myself out. I got injured. I was like not sleeping. And it was, and it didn't even grow as big as, the opposite. So, and then I've been at that opposite extreme, which was like, you know what, I'm just going to do nothing for a really long time. And yeah, it's like, eventually you need to start taking action. And yeah, you can I do all the visualization. I do meditation. I believe in it all. I know it works, but the co-creation comes from the balance space of, inspired action, having the quiet space, but then, listening to the messages and really taking forward action. So I love that you teach this, because it's so important. And I know there's so many people that are getting like confused and getting mixed messages, or, like you said, our world has been so masculine run that we come, most of us, especially in the US, come from this paradigm of we must work, our butts off and 24/7 in order to make money, in order to be successful. But it just doesn't work. It burns us out spiritually, physically. And it's actually, I keep saying, this is like, it's literally ruining, this is the root of all problems in society. It's like stress and heart disease and cancer, everything. So I love that you say this. Now, can you tell people, you have a free gift in today's email. It's a visionary business training series. Now, can you tell people what do you mean by visionary business, and tell a little bit more about what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So this is a three-part video training series called Your Very Visionary Business. And so in this three-part series, I will take you on a journey of forming the idea and the inspiration, right? And how to get clear on your purpose and clear on what your mission is. And then taking those action steps, right? So it's the feminine and the masculine, like we just talked about. So taking you through a process of how to get started and how to really start things off on the right foot, start things off so that you're going to minimize mistakes and not fall in the pitfalls that so many entrepreneurs do. So it's really wonderful. And yes, there was another part to your question that I didn't.
Yeah, visionary, like, because, very few people use that word, but what does that mean to have a visionary business?
Exactly. Yes. So this is what I was mentioning before when I said that, when we set out to solve these crazy problems that we have in our modern world, we have got to approach things from a completely different way. And so we need to incorporate that feminine part of it, which is receiving the vision, right? We need to really, really open ourselves up to the universe, to a higher intelligence, and let that flow in and let ourselves be inspired. It can also come from connecting to whatever we're most passionate about, because we're given that passion for a reason. So if there's something you've always longed to do and you keep putting it off and putting it off, don't put it off another day, because there's a reason you have that longing. Like, that is a gift from above trying to guide you in your life. So yes, that's what I mean by visionary, really tapped into the higher intelligence that's always available to us, because when that is guiding you, you're going to, be able to do amazing things with your business.
Yeah, and it's all so beautiful, and it's so true. And, I know this, but it's part of our mission. Like, we want people to understand there's a reason you have this. There's a reason why you're feeling this calling, why you're even watching this series now, and really pay attention to those and watch this 3-part video series, because it really will make a difference. Like, I'm sure it's very similar to what I say. It's like these little steps to really just start listening and then bring that out into the world in a tangible form, like the masculine, feminine. So I love that you made this series, and everybody can get it in today's email by clicking the link. And then tell people a little bit more about where they can find you, anything you have coming up, going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me at www.wearesacredplanet.com, just all one word. And so there are lots of opportunities on there. You can click on work with me and see the opportunities for us to work together. And I offer different online courses throughout the year. So I encourage everybody to come and check those out and see what resonates for you. I'd love to.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Jocelyn. This has been so great to have you on here.
It's been such a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. And everybody, be sure to get the 3-part video series, the free gift. It's all yours. And check out Jocelyn online. And be sure to join in tomorrow, where we'll have more interviews on the True Path Entrepreneur.